Says we are live.
I do believe so. And it's about to turn on. There it goes. Guys, say happy Wednesday night. Another great night for a chat. Lots of stuff going on. A few things we definitely want to talk about. But of course, we want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. Once again, we always have a great time with you guys. And we have a special guest tonight, as the title suggests. Poe Performance is with us. Hopefully you're familiar with this channel. If not, go check out his channel. I will add a link after the chat. Of course, you can go out and search for it as well. And so I want to give everybody a chance to say hi and then direct a couple of questions towards Poe. So everybody say hi.
Hello. Hey, Poe, if you want to post a comment, people can actually subscribe to you from your comment too. So you can post a comment real quick.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Yeah, we got a bunch of people showing up. That's awesome.
Well, so I suppose to start things off, we probably ought to have a little bit of an introduction, Poe, with you. So you want to tell us a little bit about you in relation to YouTube, kind of what brought you onto YouTube, and you know, kind of your involvement with the 2A and gun universe, as it were.
Yep. First of all, you guys say special guest. I'm not really special. My mom says I am, but don't they all?
Yeah.
I started my YouTube channel. I got into strength and conditioning years ago. And before that, I was a basketball coach here in Indiana. What else is there to do in the winter except play basketball? And so I coached basketball for several years and got away from that, doing my own kids' sports schedules. Have deer hunted since I was 13. So I've been around guns, but more long guns than pistols for a long time. And just about 9-10 years ago, started getting into more of the concealed carry, pistol side of it, just out of curiosity. My son was actually more interested than I was at first. He was way too young to carry, but he just liked pistols. So it was kind of transition. I never changed the name. Poe Performance was my gym name after I got out of basketball coaching and street coaching, and I just rolled it right into the gun channel. Didn't really expect to have a gun channel. It just kind of happened.
Nice. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Well, I know a lot of us have enjoyed your channel. You've got some great content on there, and I know there's some people that are probably wanting a few updates on a recent firearm that you acquired. So you probably know what I'm talking about. Maybe perhaps how is the old Sig Sauer P365 treating you?
Great. It's treating me really well. And I know some people out there probably getting sick of hearing about it, but for the ones who get, sick of hearing about it, you've got the other ones who are so curious about it being new, and with the problems that have been there, it's like you're going to have, a mixed bag of people. Either they're excited and want to know more, or people are like, oh, would you shut up about that stupid gun?
Gotcha. Well, hopefully they'll continue to press on with that, and it'll continue to be successful. So, guys, what's going on with you?
Well, I just dropped something.
Well done.
It's just a holster.
Well, we're getting a ton of rain here in Texas. It's been raining for like 3 days and supposed to continue for a couple more. So definitely getting a lot of water. And other than that, just rolling. Just doing what we do, and getting a little upset about all this gun grab stuff, but we're all working through it. So emailing the senators and emailing people and calling people that we need to call.
Right on. 17, you?
Well, we had a 70+ degree day today in New York, which was shocking. So I got home from work and I actually mowed my lawn in February.
Wow.
First time I've ever done that. And I wasn't really mowing grass. I was mowing all the leaves because before winter set in, I always try to get the leaves off the lawn, but I wasn't able to. So my son wanted to go out in the backyard and shoot at his lacrosse goal. But of course, there are leaves everywhere. And we have, this infestation up here of deer ticks. So I went out with the mower and just plowed through it like a champ. So it was really exciting. Beautiful day though today. Absolutely awesome. But tomorrow it's going to be 30 degrees and we're getting sleet on Friday.
Nice, nice. Yeah, we've been getting freezing rain and sleet, and we're in for another round tonight. So we're pretty excited about that. Hey, real quick, Eddie PR is checking in from Puerto Rico. That's pretty freaking sweet, Eddie. We appreciate that. He's taking it. He's saying it takes 4 months to get a permit to buy a firearm, and that's just to use it for range and home protection. A carry permit is a whole other ordeal, Eddie. That sucks, man. I know there's somebody on the panel here who can relate to you at least a little bit. And 17, speaking of that, where are you with the PO1?
Well, getting to Eddie really quick. Eddie, you have me beat by about 8 months. In New York State, it takes about anywhere from 12 to 13 months just to get your permit. And it's based on a judge's decision as to whether or not it's a full carry or range or whatever. So, yeah, New York sucks even worse than Puerto Rico at this point. Great. The P01, no idea. No idea where it is. I was told last week that the judge would be sending the magical green coupons by Tuesday. So today is Wednesday, and I never got a call. So I emailed the girl at the sheriff's office to say, where's my gun card after now going on 10 weeks, I believe.
Wow.
Good stuff.
Wow.
So if we were to talk about like the gun stuff, I'll talk about how I, kind of my feelings about a lot of these very vocal people about, oh, Trump's, doing this and everything. I have never heard anybody, not a peep from anyone with a lot of clout on YouTube that has ever once spoken up to support people in states like New York, states like California. And now all of a sudden, now they're becoming vocal, but that's a whole nother story. I don't want to get mad about this. So let's just move along.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, what else is in the news right now? We've got quite a bit going on since the Florida shooting. Anybody want to give any updates there?
I don't want to talk about the scumbag. I want to talk about the 15-year-old ROTC kid who was given full military funeral honors at his funeral, and he was also given a posthumous acceptance to West Point, which was his dream to go to West Point. And just watching the reactions of his parents and just seeing how horrible that situation is for them and all these other people who have been affected by this. It's just a complete downer in every single way imaginable. I know that Big Johnson was saying he saw the meeting that Trump had. I actually saw it as well. And, there were some good things, some maybe not so good things, but, I think a lot of change is going to happen, and it's going to be some good and some bad, because I don't really know if anybody can answer the real question in all of this. Everybody wants to have laser focus on AR-15s and assault rifles that nobody really owns because they're not assault rifles. But at the same time, they don't want to address the real problem. And this is a societal problem. We have kids who do not have parents. We have kids who do not have any structure. We have parents who don't parent. And you've seen the destruction of homes because of this. So a lot of these kids have nowhere to turn. There's no help. And they keep saying, oh, well, the schools have to do that. I cannot say enough that it is not anything to do with schools. Schools are doing everything they can possibly do. They're overwhelmed with the social issues, overwhelmed with the mental health issues. This is a simple solution. Strong families, strong parenting, period.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like we talked about before with the social media, I think that, social media is really destroying some of these kids, as far as bullying and things like that. And I know that our world has turned to social media. We probably, us four, didn't deal with that. We didn't have it when we were younger, but now it just runs these kids' lives, and it's just, if they could just shut their phone off for a day, and look at really what's going on around them, I think some of them might wake up, but
yeah,
I don't know. What do you think about it, Poe?
I think 1776 was right on it with the whole non-parenting thing. And what parents have to realize is your first role is to parent and be a friend later. And as your kids age and as they grow, I've got a 28-year-old, 25, 24, older kids along with my 15-year-old. It develops later to where they're more friends later. You don't parent them anymore. They've moved out. And I can tell you, when our kids get older, mine move out. They're not living with me forever. and it's not a temporary arrangement. When they leave our house, they're told this isn't a trial. You're making a decision on your own to leave our house. Now, if they fell on hard times, you know, obviously they're to help. But we've created such an entitled society that when kids don't get their way, they lash out, and not just fighting. They bring ARs to school and kill people. And that entitlement mindset has got to change. And it starts at home. Absolutely starts at home, not at school.
Yeah.
Do you think oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's some people talking about that volume, Poe. So I know it's probably hard. Your volume is still weird. So
Yeah.
You know,
I'll try to talk louder.
can I just say one other thing? You know, one of the things that's also getting overlooked here is that this was just a complete failure on so many different levels. You know, the federal level, state level, the local sheriff, but even in regards to the shooter. I mean, someone somewhere failed this kid, because he had every single red flag imaginable for these acts to take place. Maybe he wasn't wearing a sign saying, "Hey, I'm going to shoot people," but he even mentioned it on YouTube that he was going to grow up to be a school shooter, professional school shooter. So these were all there, but not one person intervened. Even the people who took him under their roof and came out and said, "Oh, he was such a nice boy." Bullshit. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, if you have those signs, those are not leaving. All right. It's not like he's a 10-year-old being adopted and he's having now nurturing in the home. This is a kid who unfortunately, you know, just didn't have any of that. And for them not to be aware of that also, I don't buy that either.
Yeah. And, you know, they like his parents, they interviewed his parents, and his parents were like, "Oh, he was the perfect kid. He was never out of line. He was this and this and this." But supposedly there were 6 visits to his home by police. So who answered the door? They just talked to the kid only. There's something not right about that.
Right.
You know, because if you get a child welfare visit at your home and things like that, you know, they're going to talk to the parents. They're going to interview them. They're going to look at the situation. And to say that we never saw a sign, I call bullshit on that. I just call bullshit.
Yeah.
This kid also was seeing a psychiatrist. He was seeing a shrink and stopped seeing him voluntarily. And I mean, I'm not for big government, but, you know, if somebody has shown signs like this kid, he threatened his mother at 12 years old, make the kid. It should be mandatory. And if he doesn't show, go find his butt and lock him up. You know, I mean, he clearly had mental issues, clearly.
Yeah.
Right. And it's sort of the same idea of all these people who wanted to shelter kids and pretend that everybody were equal and all kids are the best. And now you're seeing what that actually got you. You know, not every kid is equal. Not everybody is equal. There are smart ones, dumb ones, good looking ones, ugly ones, skinny ones, fat ones. That's just the way it is. You know, it doesn't make you good or bad. It just makes you different. And instead of them, you know, pushing this idea that, yeah, there are going to be people who achieve and people who don't, people who like school and people who don't, they tried to say, no, everybody's got to be equal. Let's all just hold them and cradle them for the rest of their lives. And what did we build? We build a house of cards. Yeah. And now it's falling down on us.
Yeah. Everybody gets participation trophies, you know, and that's one thing I'm completely against. But, you know, you don't get a participation trophy in life. You know, you have to, you know, muddle the road. You have to do your own deal and earn it. I mean, you know, a lot of these, like you said, they don't have any parenting. They just go out there and they're just crazy on social media. You know, I know that if my child was posting a bunch of stuff, you know, I would just monitor their social media periodically. Just check in. They said he had guns all over it and all this other stuff. Well, if he's got ARs and rifles and he's living at home, nobody saw these?
Right.
Seriously? I mean, you know, the kid's either a great, you know, he plays a great hide go seek game, but, you know, there's got to be a clue when he's walking in with rifles.
Yeah, I don't know how they didn't see that coming, but hopefully some of those answers will come at some point in time. So that is a lot on a pretty heavy issue there. Some people have been talking about this, obviously becoming a much larger issue out in the gun community and in the world in general. And Terry, Compton Terry, was making a good point that the next Supreme Court decision could make or break some things for us. Unfortunately, I think there is definitely some truth there. So we might see some things shifting here before entirely too long, but hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully, hopefully calmer heads can prevail, and we can try and figure out how to make this situation better without.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be necessarily. I wouldn't even necessarily be worried about the Supreme Court. I'd be more worried about the elections in Congress, because right now Republicans control, but it's very narrow, very slim lead, so that could change at any moment, and that's when we're going to see, I think, more problems for gun owners, because they'll feel very empowered and emboldened by it. And I don't know if Trump has the testicular fortitude to be able to veto stuff. So,
well, when they were talking about, when this bump stock thing came out, there was, they played Trump's little spiel that he gave, and then there was actually today there was a lawyer, and he's a criminal lawyer and everything, and they asked him the same question: what about bump stocks? And his particular comment was, they can't legally, do away with them, because you still have to pull the trigger. Your finger is still pulling the trigger, and there's one bullet leaving. Now it could be faster, but they said as far as outlawing bump stocks, the ATF has already said, hey, we can't touch them. So it would have to be them writing a specific law to say no, and that law's already been written. So he, in his words, now I'm not a lawyer, but in his words, he said that ain't going to happen. They're not going to be able to take it away. So, and like we all talk about this, and of course they are AR-15 sporting rifles. AR does not stand for assault rifle. We know what it stands for, but they're all on this term. If you really, honestly, 22, or excuse me, a 223-556. Now, of course, it'll go through you. It's its velocity and things like that, but that's not a go to war gun. That's what they use, of course, but think about AKs and all this other stuff. There's a lot of other things out there, and they happen to be just picking on an AR-15.
Poe, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. 76, you're a New York guy. 9/11, there wasn't a single gun involved. There were box cutters and airplanes. Yep. In 1995, I think it was 95 in Oklahoma City, McVeigh, 168 people. There were no guns involved.
Right. That was fertilizer.
Yeah, and a U-Haul truck.
You can't regulate evil out of people. You can't. Yeah. It'll never, ever work. I always say this, whether you are a believer in the Bible or not, if you are, there were 4 people on earth at one time, and 25% of them were murderers, and he killed his own brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's never a less safe time in history, if you think about it from a statistical standpoint, than that. Yeah. And as far as arming yourself goes, we all know this stuff, but some people just don't get this, that whether it's an AR, a pistol, or whatever else, the gun, if you set it on a table, put it in a holster in your gun safe, it will never, ever do any wrong. It can't. Yeah. It can't. And so it's just ridiculous to think an inanimate object can be banned and it's going to eliminate gun crime. This is not going to happen.
Well, that's just it. Even if we banned sporting rifles, and My Life Choices was saying the media knows exactly what AR stands for, and I totally agree. But they can't build ratings without scare factor of assault rifle, and that's absolutely true. But at the end of the day, if you go after modern sporting rifles, what does that do? That does absolutely nothing, and we've proven that before in the 90s. Crime didn't go down when they had the standard capacity magazines limited and some of those types of things. The numbers prove that just didn't work. And all you're going to do is you're going to take away potentially guns from good people's hands. Bad guys are still going to have guns, or they're going to have whatever devices they want to have to create whatever kind of mayhem they want to create.
Yeah. That brings up another point, and I was talking about this with a buddy of mine. Say, okay, just say they, said, okay, you can't carry guns anymore. Okay. And you don't have to say if you don't want to say, but if they actually said that tomorrow, can't carry guns anymore, would you be okay with that? Would you just go, okay, I'll comply?
Well, that is a terrible, no offense, Big J, but that is a terrible, terrible hypothetical.
No, and I'm not saying that, but where I was kind of going with this is, bad guys carry guns. Of course, they don't have license, things like that. And it would almost force good people to become outlaws. I mean, because for one, what's going to happen. They take away the guns from the good people, bad people keep their guns, and they do what they want to do. And it just continues. So
the point being, you're not going to take guns from anyone. Whether they give them up or not, it's going to be voluntary.
Yeah.
Bad guys aren't turning their guns in.
No. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's just ridiculous. And, they talked about other countries doing this and stuff like that, just, walking in and just handing guns away. And I don't know if y'all saw this thing on TV or on the video, but this guy took his AR and he cut it in half with a saw because of after what Florida happened. There's actually a video going around where he takes his AR and he cuts it in half, okay? He cuts the barrel off of it, and the barrel is now this long. So what he's done is he's just done a felony and made an SBR. That's what he's just done on video. But he's so stupid. I'm serious. When I watched the video, I'm like, okay, the guy just made a felony and he created an SBR right there on camera. Yeah, he takes his own thing and he just cuts it. And, he's like, oh, because of the shooting, this is what I've chosen to do. No, and he goes, he goes, what if I went crazy one day? He actually says this on video. What if I went crazy one day? And I'm like, are you serious? And it's like gone viral, supposedly. And I'm like, hey, you just created a felony. Go arrest him, ATF. He just made an SBR. But, he doesn't cut up. And what's weird about this, he only cuts the barrel. He didn't cut the lower. Okay, so what he probably did is he just cut the barrel, and then he's already got another barrel ordered for it. But he's trying to, go viral like he did.
Yep. Trying to prove a point.
Yeah, but he's an idiot.
Yeah, clearly. Can I say something real quick too on you guys mentioned President Trump earlier?
Yeah.
Here's my concern. Being in a midterm election year and even thinking ahead to 2020, I have said that with the economic boom, the tax cuts, the way that I foresee the next few years going, I didn't even think anybody would primary Trump in 2020 from the Republican side. What are you going to run against? If everything's going great, what are you going to say? But now if he does something on this ban or even tighter regs on guns or bump stocks, how easy is it going to be for a Republican to primary him on the platform of you lied. You said you were a Second Amendment guy and you backed out. You flip-flopped. You catered to the Democrats. And really rail on that. And you implemented the same gun ban, hypothetically. The last person to do that was Clinton, a Democrat. And I mean, somebody could really pound that. And we aren't going to buy it. But, there's some, I guess, for a better term, ignorant people out there who would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's some validity to it also. I mean, we have to think like, wait a minute, this guy was supposed to be on our side here,
Well, and, I watched the whole speech that he was doing the round table with all the kids and their parents and things like that. And he was listening, and, some of the kids kind of did the whole song and dance, like they're 40-year-old men and know everything about guns. But then some of the parents where their daughter was at the school, and he kind of ended on this note. And I'm almost thinking this was a really great thing because he ended on this note where, the dad let the daughter talk and all that. Well, then he took the microphone and he said, I feel that we need more concealed carriers in schools, such as teachers, coaches, things like that, if they choose to. He said the exact same thing I just said in my video, if they choose to. And, that way, even if they didn't have that on their person, they could have them in lock boxes in the school, like in their rooms. So if something went crazy, they could all pull their pistols, go out and do what they needed to do. And he brought that up, and I thought that was great. Well, there was a person prior to him that was talking about, and his daughter died in a shooting way back when. And what's funny is the kid of the dad stood up and said, yes, my sister lost her life, but I really like what he said. And Trump said about 8 times, concealed carriers are, a really good thing. Concealed carriers. He kept saying that. It was almost like he was trying to reiterate the national, I can't ever say the word,
reciprocity.
Yes. It was almost like he was trying to kind of subliminally put that in. And I was thinking, okay. And that's how they kind of ended it on, having guns in schools and also stopping the soft targets. They brought that up a lot, the gun-free zones. So I don't know if some of these people were put in there to kind of try to, that way, because, a lot of liberals and stuff probably turned in or watched this. So I don't know if we heard the other side, but we also heard some of our side too. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, if they were ever going to put in, teachers that were able to be armed or not, or administrators or other staff members, you'd need some serious training for that, because you could always say, oh, I'm going to go through, 100 hours of training a month. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. It's probably not realistic, but you have no idea how people are going to respond in a crisis situation. I mean, I've heard this a million times where, you get these operators who come out and say, oh, I'm going to barrel roll and shoot 52 targets in under 10 seconds and they'll all be bullseyes. That's great. It's a static target. It's paper, it's steel, whatever it is. You have no idea the pucker factor involved in a real life emergency, Yeah. And, I'm sure there are plenty of military personnel who understand that. I'm sure there are plenty of police officers who understand that, firefighters that understand that. It takes a certain mindset in a situation like that to be able to respond. And, I just, believe me, I support the idea of having people armed in schools. I think that's an idea that needs to be investigated. But I also worry that, is this person going to be able to respond the way they need to be responding in that situation? And I think that's something they also have to carefully look at as well.
Well, and, even bringing up having, like retired veterans. And this is just something, that they had at my daughter's school that she went to. They actually had retired veterans. Now, most of them were grandpas. When she was in elementary school, they were grandpas, but they actually guarded every door in the school. And they did it as a volunteer thing, and they gave them, lunch and all this other stuff. And they just come up and volunteer to do it. And they manned every damn door in that school. They were little grandpas, and they had to be retired veterans. And I thought that was a great thing.
Definitely. Right. To touch on that real quick, 76, if we think about it, makes some good points. If we think about why we carry, none of us know how we're going to, you're exactly right. Nobody knows how they're going to react. And what I think about is I carry because it gives me a chance. If I have nothing on me, I have no chance. Mm-hmm. So say you've got 30 teachers in a school, 10 would pee their pants in that situation and not even be able to draw a gun. The 10 might be able to do some work. And Israel is a really good example. They had, it was in the mid 70s. They had a Palestinian come into a school, killed a bunch of people. After that, they put a bunch of different regulations in place, including teachers carrying guns. They've had 2 attempts since then, and both gunmen were killed by teachers who were armed. Yeah. I mean, that's just an example that it could work. It's plausible that it could, but
right. But keep in mind,
situation. Who knows? Who knows?
Keep in mind, though, every Israeli citizen has to serve in the military, so they probably had military training.
Yeah, and but I think it also if they knew, like all of a sudden, if Trump came out or somebody came out and said, okay, there will be armed teachers and coaches and people in schools, and it's not a soft target, that might make the bad guy think, well, hey, they've got guns in there. We're not going to go in there. I mean, it could maybe mentally set them up to not go into that area because it's a gun-free zone, so to say. So,
yeah. Hey, so we're about halfway through this. We probably ought to move on to some other topics here. Maybe talk about guns, answer some questions from the crowd, and hopefully the crowd agrees with that because that's a topic we could probably go on forever and ever. And lots of good stuff there. We might come back to that next week. But guys, what's going on in the gunverse for all of you? What's next on the plate?
Go ahead,
what do you got next coming up?
For me, just bought a rifle not long ago. My son did actually, and I wanted to do a review on it. It's a Thompson Center Compass. It's supposed to be a budget rifle, but man, this thing shoots sweet. Comes with a Vortex Diamondback scope on it. Nice. Smith & Wesson has a rebate right now. I think this thing shipped is like $325 and shoots guarantee 1 MOA or your money back. So look for that review pretty soon. But it's funny because before the 365, my wife asked me, so what's next? And I said, I don't have anything I'm really interested in. I really don't. And then about 2 weeks later, I saw the 365 ad. That interested me. So right now, I really don't have anything nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems to be a very common feeling amongst a lot of people right now. There's just not a heck of a lot going on. I know for me, the only thing that is catching my eye right now is that damn Caracol. That's it. Nothing else. And who knows when that's going to come out?
Yeah.
Maybe March.
Well, and I kind of think the Caracol could be cool. I do want to touch it now. Grab a Gun actually already has them listed. They have the quick site version and the other site, and they show the prices on there, so you can go in and put your name on the email list if you want when they hit. But it seems like a very interesting gun, but it's like I watched some videos and they're saying, oh, it's got a great trigger, it's got this, it's got that, but I don't know because I haven't pulled it. But it seems like a pretty cool gun. It looks like a flat shooter when they shoot it.
Mm-hmm.
There's just nothing that's really jumping out at me where it's like, oh my gosh, I've got to get that. I'm just not seeing that right now.
Yeah.
What about you, KS?
I'm in the same boat. I did make an acquisition this weekend, and it was the last thing on the list. My list is actually empty for the first time in a really long time, and I'm kind of sitting around and looking what's currently in inventory right now, and I'm really happy with everything. There's nothing that's T&E worthy where I know that I'm going to part with it at any time soon, which I did quite a few times last year for the sake of the channel and also my interests. But I think my interests have changed a little bit, and I'm more focused on finding things that I really like and potentially want to keep for the long haul, or at least for the foreseeable future, which of course could turn out to be 4 months. You never know. But right now where I sit, I really like everything, and it's all a lot of fun, and I want to explore the stuff I've got a little bit more, which of course changes the dynamic of the channel, at least in the near term, and what I do there. But that just kind of is the nature of the beast a little bit. There is nothing out there that's exciting enough for me to where I'm really trying to get it aside from the P365. That's it.
Yeah. I'll tell you, the one gun that has definitely surprised me the most has been the M&P 2.0 compact. I just cannot believe how damn awesome this gun is. And I made the video, and I've had a lot of people respond to the video. Most have been positive, not really anything negative, but some people just not really believing the hype about the gun. And I've got to tell you, man, this is exceeding all my expectations of what Smith was putting out. It is a great shooting handgun, super comfortable. Love the texturing. I just am so shocked how much I actually like this gun. It's kind of bad. Like, it's bad.
I mean, now, how many have you shot it yet? Like, went and put a bunch of rounds through it, or no, not yet?
So apparently you didn't watch my video. That's nice.
Which one? I watch all your videos. I guess
you didn't watch that video. I just put it out the other day.
Oh, with the mag sitting on top of the picture. Okay.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I haven't. Hey, you don't watch mine. Shut up.
I am unsubscribing from you right now, just so you know. That's not
you didn't
funny.
You didn't watch my videos yesterday. Shut up.
That's because I do something called work.
Okay.
So yeah, I shot it, Big J, and the gun shot extremely accurate. I think all the crap people gave him about cutting this out and putting the steel thing. I've heard people say it gets hot. This gun did not get hot, not once. And on top of that, the one gun that I was shooting that actually lit up almost on fire was that P320. That gun was so hot when I was done shooting it that I couldn't even touch it. That's how hot that gun was. And I had never experienced that before in any of the other P320s I had. So I thought that was odd. But that compact, I'm telling you guys, if you're looking for, a good Glock 19 size handgun, that 2.0 compact has been absolutely the biggest surprise for me this year.
Cool.
So you're probably talking about me. I have picked on the M&P quite a few times because anytime I take, whether the compact or when I had the full size to the range, and I'd put 200, 250 rounds through it, that thing would get boiling hot to a point where really I couldn't.
That's right.
I couldn't touch it anymore. And I think the only other gun that was similar to that, but not nearly as hot, was the FN 509. That got pretty damn hot too. But that M&P gets boiling hot.
I didn't feel it. I think you're lying.
It could be you.
Maybe we have calloused hands.
You have silicone hands.
You need to stop putting lotion on your hands, Russ.
Yeah, put the lotion on
God,
the skin.
KS, Jesus.
Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
KS, don't put the lotion on the skin.
What I do on Friday nights is my business, okay? Oh, yeah. Yeah, FN's boil. My life agrees. See, there it is. Jury's out.
Yeah, Frank just insulted me. He said that 1776 or bust, you used words more than 2 syllables, so Big Johnson didn't understand it.
Oh,
damn, Frank. Okay, let's see here. Let me go ahead and delete him.
Yeah. Put him in timeout.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
We'll do the progressive step-by-step hit.
Trust me, I'm a grown-ass man. I can take a joke.
Let's see. Range Randy is saying, I have the MP 2.0 and just ordered an Apex trigger for it. Stock trigger, not that great. I'm sure I will like it a lot more with the Apex. I agree, sir, you will. The stock trigger isn't that bad, but I don't know. I don't like that stupid hinge trigger thing. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
But you'll feel the difference.
So, Poe, as far as your, I know you like the 365, but what else are you really digging in the guns that you currently have? And I know you've got the Glocks and stuff like that, but what are you, like, what's your kind of, other than the 365, what's your kind of go-to gun that you're finding?
I've got my own gym behind my house, so I carry a gun out there. Pretty much I've got a gun with me everywhere, at least where I can. But when I go to the gym, I still carry the LCP2 in that little Kydex holster in my sweatpants, tie them tight. That's when I go to use an elliptical at a different gym. So all of my guns, I said a while ago, any gun that I kept, I sold a bunch. So yep. I still owe a video. I still owe a video to tell everybody which ones I kept. There's going to be some mad people out there at me.
That's where I was going with this, because you haven't told us.
Yeah, they all have to have a purpose, and every gun I own has a purpose now. I use them, I'd say almost daily. One, or at least it's ready for a certain function, a certain thing, or it's actually used in a certain way. And I feel good about it. I said in one of my videos, I kind of feel liberated by that. It's like, I no longer have to think, should I trade this gun for that one? Because I'll probably shoot that one more. And, should I swap this and trade? I don't have to worry about that anymore. It's nice.
That's an interesting question too. You just brought up a point about the purpose of a gun. One of the things that I always say is every single handgun I own, I actually carry. For me, it's not, I don't have any safe queens. I don't have a trophy gun. Everything I own, I carry. And, I got a lot of flack for that because people were saying, well, why do you carry every gun? Well, what are you doing with it? What do you just open up the safe and admiring it? Carry it, shoot it, use it. So my thing is, if I buy a gun, it's got one purpose, and that will be carried, period. That's it. I don't care what size gun it is. But for me, that's every process I go through when I buy a gun is about what am I going to do with it? And it's usually carry.
Big gun to carry.
What is that, Poe?
Yes, it is.
That's a 35.
Nice.
Home gun.
So that reminds me of a question, Poe. Over the course of the lifetime of your channel, just the scope of your channel, I mean, you've reviewed quite a few guns. Whether it's something you kept or not kept, what was your favorite gun overall to review?
Man, that is a good question. Honestly, I had 2 of the early model P320 compacts, and I was so impressed. I had several Glocks at the time. I never had a misfeed, malfunction with either of those, and it impressed me. I didn't know what to expect. Little higher bore axis, so you're kind of wondering how it's going to shoot. I was so impressed with how it shot that probably, I guess, my initial impression, that one shocked me. It was nice. I liked it.
Okay.
So you have a question from Pistol Pete. Do you have any CZ pistols?
Me?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
I'm not a hipster. No.
Hey, man, you got to be the hipster.
Okay, so real quickly, I'm going to direct that same question to both of you guys. So, Big Johnson, over the course of the lifetime of your channel, what was your favorite gun to review?
Just review, or that I enjoyed shooting and the whole process?
Whatever it is, your favorite gun that you've done, it has to have been on YouTube at least once.
Honestly, probably the Shadow 2.
Okay.
I mean, it's a fantastic gun. You know, and I kind of got one of the first ones, and I was really glad that I did. Not for video purposes, but just for me to get used to it. And it has really became one of my favorites out of my collection. And I'm not, you know, and I know a lot of people, and I know that, you know, I have guns that I carry, and I do rotate my carry. So they're, you know, hell, I haven't carried the Shadow 2 officially, but I've carried the SP01. I mean, I've carried some big ass heavy guns, and the Rex 01. But one that I really don't carry is my Smith & Wesson 439. You know, that's the one that I actually got when I graduated high school. And it's, I mean, I love it and it shoots great, but it's only got a 9-round capacity, and there's nothing against that. It's just, you know, I'll shoot it, but I kind of want to keep it, you know, a little nice, you know, so just more of a sentimental thing to me.
Okay. Right on. Can you?
What was that?
Favorite gun over the course of the lifetime?
Favorite gun over the course of the lifetime of the channel. I know this is going to surprise a lot of people. It's the Steyr M9. And the reason being is because, you know, there was not a lot of information out there about the gun. Actually, it was really barely anything. I think it was like maybe 4 or 5 videos out there. And so I took a chance on that gun. And, you know, for me, it was exciting because it wasn't the run-of-the-mill typical firearm that most people were out there, you know, shooting and carrying. And then when I shot it, I was like, this is the real deal. I mean, the gun is just still a premier shooting handgun. And a lot of people just, for whatever reason, don't want to get one. And I'll tell you, you know, if you go based on feel, you're never gonna have that opportunity like I did to just go with a gut feeling. You know, I'm never going to have the ability to actually hold a caracol because I live in New York and they don't even probably know what the hell a caracol is. So I'm just going to get one because I think that gun is going to be a sleeper gun. I think it's going to be a hit. You know, the design is from the guy who designed the Steyr pistols, so it's very similar. And I'm telling you, that gun is just going to probably just be top notch. At least I'm hoping. If not, oh well, my bad.
Right on, right on. Well, so I'll answer it, and then we've got a couple of questions sitting out there. I actually would go with the Shadow 2 as well, and I owe that to both Sandpaper Pistol Grips and Big Johnson. I've shot both of their firearms. I did the review on Sandpaper Pistol Grips, and then you know, sometimes we shoot a gun and it's so inspiring and so much fun, and you feel so fantastic after you shoot it. That was one of those experiences I had after doing the review shooting with Sandpapers. I ran out to the gun counter at Centerfire Shooting Sports and said, guys, I have to have one. This is a must. If I don't get any other guns, this has to be one. Well, they happened to have one that day, and it just happened to be a really good deal at the right time. So I ended up getting one. So that has definitely been my favorite out there. So a couple of questions. Poe, this one is actually for you. This is from James Bond. Do you still rock your USP 9mm?
Yeah, I actually just typed an answer out there. No, I don't. So all of you HK lovers, don't hate me. It came down to I almost kept it just for the fact that it's a hammer fired HK and would probably go through hell and back and still work. But again, functionally, I'm looking at it. I'm comparing it to the G19. It's virtually the same size. It holds 13. G19 holds 15. It's a little slimmer than 19 was. It just didn't fit a roll for me anymore. And I found myself not carrying it. It was just in the safe. And it's too good of a gun too. I look at my guns like this. If I'm going to sell or trade, if I'm not using it, I want somebody out there that's going to use it. You know, if it's too good of a gun to just collect dust, let somebody else use it.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
So hang on, I have a question for Poe. Poe, do you currently have any double action, single action pistols? And you don't have to name them. I'm just wondering if you still have one.
Nope.
Wow. Okay.
All right, there you go. There you go. So this actually is for everybody out there. This is from Eddie, Eddie PR. He says, if you guys could only buy one 9mm, so it has to be 9mm for home protection and carry, what would it be? Go ahead.
It's funny you just asked me about the double action, single action. Honestly, if I wasn't so comfortable with Glocks, I probably wouldn't use my 35 for home defense. But it kind of fits the hunting role and home defense, so it serves two purposes. But I like the idea of a double action pistol for home defense because you could stage the trigger. If someone in your house wasn't who you thought it was, you could back off a little easier than a lighter striker fire. So I think it's not a bad idea. But then again, for carry, I like the striker. I just think the transition, not so much the first shot on target. You can learn to get that double action shot on target. But it seemed to me it was always the transition. So the first one's there, and even though the second strike is lighter, sometimes it was low, left. You just found yourself jacking, with the grip there. So, gosh, one gun for both. I mean, I like the 19, the VP9. They're all good. Now,
Okay.
then another option would be something like the old 226, with the DAC trigger or the USP LEM trigger. Those are kind of a compromise between the double action, single action, and striker. So those are good options too.
Nice.
What about you, 17? Or whoever?
The CZP01, all day, every day.
Nice.
Mine is the CZP09, all day, every day.
Nice. I'll go old school. I'll do a Glock 19. That is always a fallback gun for me, and I think, like a lot of just like all the guns that you guys have mentioned, and everybody out there is mentioning very similar things. I mean, all of these guns are so well suited for both home defense, for concealed carry. Bald mentioned also for competition with one of his grand powers. But people are coming up with all sorts of different things. PO7 Steyrs, SIG P320s. I mean, all sorts of things. So it just kind of drives home the point that there's so many great options out there, and so many of them fit more than one role, which is really cool. So that was a really good question, guys.
It's a tough one.
Whew. It is a tough one. It absolutely is.
Yeah.
It definitely makes you think. And we don't like, I can't do 2-syllable words, so it's hard for me to think, apparently.
Well, you just said apparently.
Well, I know that's a $5 word. I don't even know how to spell it.
It's tough. Hey, actually, we have another question actually from James Bond. 17, do you still have your Steyr L9? And is it longer or the same as the G17?
I do still have the L9. It is the same length slide, but a shorter grip. So it's got like a Glock 19 grip with a longer slide. Sort of like the reverse of the 19X.
Nice.
I just had to throw that out there.
Nice. So we have another question. This is from I carry my revolver in single action. Very appropriate. Do any of you guys own a revolver? Very good question. We don't talk about revolvers very much here.
Nope.
No.
Yeah, I have 4. I don't shoot them. They're sit there.
Okay.
But they're old ones, and they've been passed down, so I won't get rid of them.
Hey, have you guys ever seen one of those Dan Wesson revolvers that come with like the 3 different barrels of lengths? Like there's one that's super long, that's like a friggin' cannon. Then there's one that's a medium size and one more for compact carry. Have you ever seen that before?
Where it comes with the 3 barrels in one package?
It's a Dan Wesson revolver, and it's 3-in-1. I actually saw that the other day at my local gun shop. They wanted, I think they wanted $450 for it used.
Wow, for a Dan Wesson?
For all 3 barrels and the gun.
And if it's a Dan Wesson, that's a hell of a price. If, condition-wise.
I mean, I am not in the market for something like that, but it was pretty cool to see. It was pretty sweet.
Yeah, hell, in Poe's world, you could shoot, depending on what the caliber was, you could shoot freaking deer with that damn thing.
You could with a long barrel.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was huge. It was funny to see it. I was like, Jesus, how did you even conceal that? That's what my first thought was.
Oh, with the urban carry, remember?
Yeah. That's right, because you'll be like a Navy SEAL. Yeah,
steps in the Navy SEAL. They won't even hear you coming.
Hey, Baldy, I'm texting you right now.
So for me, for revolvers, I've owned several, a couple of Smith & Wesson J frames, and they were great guns. I never really fell in love with them. It was one of those deals where I just wasn't inspired to go shooting with them very often, and at the end of the day, it wasn't quite as exciting. I have thought about trying a revolver again, but I actually, and you guys can laugh at me all you want, but I would like to try the Ruger, the LCR, the 9mm. I think that would actually be kind of fun. I mean, that way I can stick with the calibers that I've got in the safe, and I don't have to go out and try and worry about dicking with another caliber. Although I've shot 38 Special and 357, sticking with that, and I hear it's a very good gun. I don't know if anybody out there has any experience with any of the LCR, any of the Ruger revolvers, but I hear they're pretty good. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I've never shot one.
Good triggers.
Good triggers? Okay.
Yep.
I don't know anything about them.
And you could dual wield them. You could put one on each hip.
Yes. Yes.
That's some cowboy action.
There you go.
We've got a little bit more time. Are there any couple? We'd probably take one or two more questions out there. Let's see. So the Mateo is right. So revolvers that take moon clips are not great, or they are great, not. Yeah, you know, I totally get that, and for me, they're not practical from a carry standpoint. I know other people would disagree with that, but I would just like to try it just for fun. And I had the opportunity to pick up a 9mm Ruger for like $380, and for whatever reason, I just didn't do it. And I think that went the way of all things. But you know, at some point in time, I'd like to give it a try.
Yeah, only thing if I were to get a small, like with my small revolvers, a couple that I have, it's like, you know, the factory grip is so tiny on the little 38 snub nose. So for my hand to really fit it, you know, I've got to get a bigger grip, and then it's just weird. So I just kept them all stock. So when I shoot them, they just don't fit my hand well.
So Alaskan Ballistics is asking, probably might be the definitive question of the evening, if not of the chat's history. He's asking, what role does a gun have to have for you to keep it? And I think we can expand on that. So what makes a gun have what it has to have to keep it, just in general? I mean, I think that's a great question. And you can answer it generically or very specifically. It's entirely up to you. So Poe, what do you think? What does a gun have to have for you to keep it?
You know, depending on the roles, and roles are going to vary per person. If you don't hunt, you don't have to worry about being able to hit whatever your game is. If it fills that role and another, then you need to be able to do both pretty well. So what I also like to do when I get rid of a lot of my guns is I wanted to have something to backfill. I don't have any duplicates. Harry asked earlier if I had any duplicates in my guns. I don't have any, but I have a backup. So if this gun goes down, I've got something else that I can carry. If my hunting gun goes down, I've got shotguns and rifles. So that's what I think is important. If it fills a role and it happens to go down, having a backup. But bottom line is, I even did the video on it, you know, the perfect pistol, and that's based on whatever role it's going to fill, is the one that you shoot well. We have to get hits. We have to get hits. Nice.
Big J?
Well, I mean, I'm not, you know, I'm like 17. Every gun that I have, except that one, I want to carry. You know, I haven't carried the Shadow 2. We all know that. But, you know, I do like them to fit roles for carry, and I like to shoot them and enjoy them. But, of course, I'm a collector, too. So there's some guns that I just want, but I will still go shoot. You know, I don't have any that I don't absolutely shoot. They just sit there. So I don't have any of those except the revolvers, and I'll take those out every once in a while and just shoot them, but I'm not good at shooting them anymore. But they just, you know, I don't have to have 3 guns and, you know, each one of them be like one carry gun, one nightstand gun. You know, I don't have that set up. So.
You know, for me, I think the number one feature that I look for, or whatever you want to call it, is the ergonomics of the gun. You know, if it feels right in the hand, it's a gun that I'm going to keep. It's a gun that I'm going to want. You know, the best example I can give you is, I know that a lot of you on the panel love the VP9. I hate it. I can't stand it. And it's not because it's a terrible gun, not because it's a terrible shooting gun. I don't like the way it feels in my hand. That's it. Yeah. You know, so for me, Ergos plays a huge role in it. You know, the P01 feels great in my hand. It'll never leave my side. It's never going to get sold. Never. The PPQ, in my opinion, ergonomically, is a top-notch handgun. The Steyer's excellent. You know, for me, that's what it boils down to. So to me, I always look for how that gun feels in my hand, because I know if it feels good, I'm going to shoot it well, and I'm going to like carrying it.
Yeah.
I think that should be the number one. I've said that in videos also, ergonomics. And interestingly enough, when I first started carrying Glocks, I went to the gun store and I asked them to put a Gen 4 and a Gen 3 on the counter. And I didn't know which one was which. And the 4's got a little bit smaller grip, different feel. And I just would grab them and feel them and put them back. And the 3 just worked better for me. And I've had people go, "Are you serious? Over the 4?" Yeah, it's personal preference. And I like the way the 3 feels better.
Okay, nice. I think for me, it's all about a connection. It's, you know, there are some guns that are fantastic guns, and you know they're good guns based upon other people's feedback and good reviews and good reputation, whatever. And you pick it up and you shoot it, and you don't connect with it. It just simply doesn't work. And so for me, for guns that I look to enjoy for the long term, potentially collection worthy, whatever, there has to be some sort of connection, not only from a shooting in both to Poe and 17's points. It's got to go bang. You got to be able to make hits on targets. I mean, you got to make it work. It's got to work. But to me, there's got to be more of a connection than just that. So for me, there's a little bit of a there's a look element. You know, that second kind of cool thing. If you know what I'm talking about there. And there has to be some sort of connection. So I look for something that goes beyond just simply function. I want a little bit more than that, but it's kind of cool. I mean, you know, we all have different perspectives and different things that lead to what we value in firearms, and whether it's something that we keep for a long period of time, or maybe it's a fleeting moment, and it's something that comes in and goes right back out. I'm sure we've all had some of those.
But you know, that's the great thing about the guns that are out there now. You know, there's 31 flavors. Everybody can pick what they like, you know, and I've seen some in here. People, I don't like the BP9, I don't like the BP9, but you know, I really like mine. Matter of fact, I'm starting to like it even more than the PPQ, and there's nothing against the PPQ because I still own it, but it's just, you know, it's whatever you gravitate towards or whatever feels great to you could feel totally different, you know, to someone else. So, I mean, I think that that's a really great thing that we have so many great handgun choices now.
Yeah, no, absolutely true. Absolutely true. So, guys, we're getting pretty close to our time. So real quickly, of course, we want to thank Poe for joining us tonight. This has been a ton of fun. Really cool dude. And of course, I want to give everybody an opportunity to go around the table here, so to speak, and tell everybody what's coming up in the near term, and say your goodbyes, whatever it happens to be. So, Poe, let's start with you.
Thanks for the opportunity. I knew it would be fun. This was a good time. It's amazing how quickly this hour goes. You know, thankful for you guys, Second Amendment supporters. And the really cool thing about you guys and a lot of our network, I guess, is we're so different ages, different backgrounds, different look, different likes. And it's just cool how it all comes together for the common good of, you know, the Second Amendment protection. So what's coming up on mine? I've got some drills coming up. I said a while ago in an update, I was going to start doing a lot more drills again and fewer gun reviews. We've had such wet weather or freezing cold weather. I haven't been in the range as much as I would like to, except for the 365. But a couple of drills coming up. I do have a product review coming up as well, though. It's from Streamlight. So it's nothing new, but it's newer to me.
Nice.
Thank God it's not an O-light. Told you I'd get it in.
Okay. So what do you got, 17?
Well, I'm hoping by the time my next birthday rolls in, I'll have my P01 Omega. That should be pretty exciting. You know, I don't really know, to be honest with you guys. I just take it day by day. You know, I have a couple of videos of shooting on the P320, the PPQ with the Apex trigger. I just haven't posted any of it. So maybe I'll do that, you know, at some point. You know, I try to do one, maybe 2 videos a week. That's about all I have time for right now. But other than that, man, I've been doing the flying solo chats, which are kind of interesting. You know, it's just kind of me doing this, and it just does everything, not just guns. So you know, if you guys are ever checking those out, feel free to join because they're random. I just randomly start a live stream. So I know it sucks for a lot of people, but you know, my life is a bit random. So if I have the time and there's nobody else doing one because I don't want to step on anybody's toes, then I'll just throw it up there for 45, 50 minutes and then call it a night.
Well, they're cool. They're neat chats for sure. Guys, as always, we want to thank you guys for joining us. We always have a blast here, and it's been a fantastic crowd. Who's got the echo? Is that me? That might be me.
Yeah.
But it probably is. But again, you guys, thank you very much for joining us. I've got a couple things coming up over the next month. I've got a couple of If I Could Only Have Ones. I haven't done many of those lately, so those will be coming up. Then I've got a couple of reviews coming up as well on single guns and a few products. After that, I don't know. Sky's the limit, so we shall see. But once again, everybody, thank you so much.
Hey, do I get to say what I have coming up?
Oh
No.
my God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you just smoked me. You just
You said his name. You said his name, KS.
you got into the got smoked me. But okay, I have an Olight video coming up.
Next.
Joking. No, I've got some gun stuff coming up, comparison stuff, and other product reviews that were sent in. So I'll be going over those, and got a couple of boxes, and we're just gonna kind of have fun and just do what we do.
My bad. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Yeah. Hasn't happened to me yet, I swear. Guys, again, thank you so much for joining all of us. We appreciate it. We will see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Thanks, guys. Carry on.
See you, Bo.
Thanks, Bo.
Thanks, Bo.
Thank you.